Hello, and welcome to the show. This is the first of several episodes on the Great Guitar Build Off 2022. If you watched my entry last year, you'll remember how I struggled with a saw from Tesco. But this year, I got myself a saw from Lidl, and it's a lot better. This is a technique I've been perfecting since my teens. Yeah. So what I have here is a Paulonia body, which has been praised quite a lot recently for being a substitute for swamp ash. I've never worked with swamp ash. This Paulonia is very terry. How can I explain? It feels a bit more like balsa, and I was think it would be a lot more. It would feel a lot more like pine, but I don't think that's the case. This is the time I see how good my saw is, because I'm having to put plasters on my fingers already. Basically for being impatient. I should have done it slower. Here we go. Am I breaking that bit off now? There we go. It is really, really light. It's a really light wood. So my first troll last year asked me if I'd have ever heard of electricity, because I was carving the inside of an arched back with a chisel instead of using a router. I do have a jigsaw. I could be cutting this with a jigsaw, but as you can tell, that my workshop of mine is Gesundheit is also my bedroom. It's also my kitchen, my living room. I'm watching Poirot as we speak. And it's a lot less dusty cutting it by hand than using the jigsaw. Also, I don't like jigsaws. If I had a bandsaw, I'd be using a bandsaw, but I don't have a bandsaw. I'll get there in the end. I should be taking it slower even. You see, the saw is getting snagged because I'm twisting and pushing and sneezing. Yeah, I'm not sure how toxic Paulonia is, but I've been, it goes to my nose that way. Hope I don't get a copyright strike from the team of Poirot. Yeah. You can see the plaster in my finger there. There you go, my tiniest technique of holding a saw. This year for my entry, I'm doing a solid body. I don't have the time I had last year during lockdown to do the hollow body guitar, but this is why I went for a very light wood. So this is meant to be 20% lighter than ash, and yeah, it frays a bit. I'm not happy with that, but it is really light. This body blank is 45mm thick, and I'm going to use exactly the same shape as I did last year, only I'll be doing it bolt on with hopefully actual insets and bolts instead of a plate and screws. And a calf top. I do a tummy contour for my belly. I'll be using Wilkinson hardware. I have myself a tremolo and 6 inline tuners, which is the Easy Lock, if I'm not mistaken, Easy Lock tuners, which has 2 holes in the post, so you thread to one, thread to the other, and it kind of locks it without using the thumb wheel. We're getting there. Yeah, and that's stuff for the adverts as well. The sawdust on between the body blank and the stool I'm using, it's making it slippery. Here we go, about to break it off. That's my impatience kicking in. The good thing about this is at one point the battery will die and I won't realize, so I won't have to make you go through all of that. So I have the body outline traced there, but obviously you can't see it in this shot, or very faintly only. So all the next cuts are going to be much smaller than that first big one. Yep. I hope I don't get a copyright strike for Poirot's music. I don't know how on top of it ITV is. Yeah. That's a knackered man trying to force a tool to do what the tool doesn't want to do. Oh, just break it off already. Yeah. So after all that, this is what I ended up with. There's a lovely flame to the body, which is quite nice of the guys at David Dyke. When I ordered the body blank, they asked me if I was going to have a solid finish on it or a translucent finish, and I stated my intentions, and they got me a nicely figured top body blank. Now I'm on to probably the thing I've been dreading the most so far, to install the truss rods. And if you read my posts on the GGBO website, I dread this because I'm using a StewMac double action or dual rod truss rod, which is 7/32 of an inch wide, and as far as I can tell, at least here in the UK, you can't get a 7/37 30 router bit anywhere. So I went for something a bit smaller and made a jig to compensate for that, roughly 0.5 millimeter wider than the 5mm bit that I got. Yeah, I'm constantly losing my knife mark. Yeah, found it. Put a straight edge there. It was only at this time that I realized my jig was not straight because of the glue on the jig. I'll get to that in due time. I'm doing a reverse headstock on this one because I've always liked that, and I made my own headstock design, which is never my own because it draws inspiration from many things. I've probably drawn inspiration as well. I've used violin as inspiration, but also the look of a Strat headstock with a GNL headstock, with a bit of Firebird headstock, with a bit of violin headstock. At least that's the intention. as I narrate this, as I'm winging this narration, I still haven't done it, so I'm not sure. I won't change my mind till then. Oh, and as you can hear, I'm watching The Simpsons now. Yeah, I try to use a bits of wood for weighing. No, that doesn't work, mate. And it's now putting the truss rod up against my jig that I realize it's not actually straight. There's something wrong there. Mm-hmm. Oh, look. At this point, I'm considering flattening one side of that neck blank and use a router guide. But that's not something I was considering doing. I was considering, but I didn't really want to do it. Yeah. A bit of flame on that neck blank, which is alright. That's how when I realized, I tried to sand it down, but that's not the problem. Try to give it a cleaner edge, but that's not it. Look how the ruler oscillates on that edge. No. Then still not. I'm wondering, what is it? But this is straight. And I cut that edge using that aluminium square. Then have a little bit of a light bulb moment, and I realize there's so much glue squeeze out. Yeah, that's what was not making it straight, and probably not even accurate to the distance of the router. It's probably the same on the other side, but I never realized. Now I'll do it again. Yeah, I'm still contemplating getting a straight edge on that neck blank, but I'm not comfortable doing it. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Just give up. So I finally did it. I got that edge straight on that jig, which I was hoping to use for whenever I needed to install a sumac truss rod. But as it turns out, no. I'll make another one if needed. Checking for fit, and that's a good fit. 2 thumbs up. I just need to get to the right depth. So unlike every other truss rod adjustment of this type with a spoke nut that I've seen, it's usually a cut in the neck heel where the nut is, but what I'm doing here is the nut is protruding from the neck. So it will effectively be between the neck pickup and the neck. And the cutaway is in the body. I did get myself a vacuum system, a dust collection of sorts later, but I didn't have it when I did this. And this is it for this episode. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry about my upward inflection all the time. I don't usually do that, I promise. I'll see you on the next episode.